If any of you watching this are from my old Nioh 2 videos, you know how big of a fan I was of key damage builds. Definitely not because of how overpowered it was and how I always found a way to add the Epon Soul Core into my builds. Definitely because of how much skill it took to use that Soul Core. But we are trying to get the same result in Oolong as well. And right now, this might possibly be the best spirit damage build in the game. Now, they may or may not add new sets and gears that can make this build even better in the future, but the idea is going to be the same. So for this build, I'm using the Way of Tianzu set bonus, aka the Hongjing set. Now, you get this armor set by reaching the Sworn Brother oath level with her, which is most likely gonna give you the shitty rarity armor set anyway. And if you are in NG Plus and you're trying to get the 5-star version of that set, which you should, then the best way, or the only way to get it is going to be farming this mission called the Scarlet Crystal. Now, it took me around, I think, 30 to 35 tries to get all of the pieces, and your luck most likely gonna be worse, but hopefully it is better. And something I would want to let you know is that if you are trying to get higher rarity items, which are definitely going to be the 5 stars if you're farming in NG+, stack as much luck as you can, as that's what decides the possibility of you getting a 5-star item. Stacking equipment drop rate with extremely low luck, it ain't gonna get you anything. The game already tells you everything you need to know, but for some reason, you all don't like to read, or you cannot read. Now, if you look at the set bonuses, so for One Piece, we have the HP increased by plus 12. Then Wizardry spell spirit consumption reduced by 2.2%. Then power gain upon Wizardry spell. And the last one is going to be staff spirit damage. And of course, we are using the Jade Green Staff because this belongs to that set. Now, out of all the weapons that I have used, I think this weapon is definitely my most favorite one. The first thing is you can apply status ailments on enemies really fast because it's a fast hitting weapon. And the second thing is it also scales mainly with wood. So if you are going for a tanky build where you are going to be putting your most amount of points in wood, then this is the weapon that you should pick up, or any weapon that scales mainly with wood. Now, if you are going for a spirit damage build, the two main passives that you need to focus on are going to be, or should I say status ailments that you need to focus on, are going to be chill and heaviness. Now, you apply chill on enemies by hitting them constantly with a frost imbued weapon, and you apply heaviness on enemies by hitting them with a stone imbued weapon. So as you can see, chill, a status effect inflicted when ice accumulation reaches a certain amount, reduces stone resistance and increases automatic spirit depletion during high spirit. Also prevents automatic spirit recovery during low spirit. And we have the heaviness, a status ailment inflicted when stone accumulation reaches a certain amount, reduces lightning resistance, that we don't really care about that, and increases the amount of spirit damage received. Also increases the amount of spirit gained from attacking or deflecting. Really good. So if you're going for a spirit damage build, then these two are the main element that you need to focus on, and make your build focus towards these two elements. Now, talking about the status effect build-up on the enemies, you don't have to copy my exact setup, but if you are going for a status effect build, then be sure to pick up a fast-hitting weapon, because if you are using something like an axe or hammer, a status effect build-up is going to be terrible with those weapons, because the build-up doesn't depend on the amount of physical damage you are dealing to the enemy with your weapon. So fast-hitting weapons are going to be the best for this. So you pick up either staff, dual swords, or the normal swords are going to do just fine. Now, I'm also using this one called Grace of Sauhao, the White Emperor, and it increases the status effect accumulation on enemies by 6.8%. Now, if you look at my gears, there are 4 passives that I'm stacking on all of them. The first one is going to be Ice Attack Power, increased by 19, Stone Attack Power increased by 19, Chill accumulation on enemies increased by 7.9%, and the same on Heaviness, increased by 7.9%. I also have some other ones like Spirit vulnerability on enemy upon deflecting a critical blow. Now, critical blow are going to be the red attacks that you cannot block, or you have to parry if you don't want to take any damage from them. Then you also have element imbued weapon spirit damage increased by 3.9%. Now you can pick this one Or you can use the other one. Which one was it? Spirit damage dealt to enemies with an active negative effect. Now on to the wizardry spells. Now the first one going to be the Elemental Plague. Requires 9 points in metal, and it increases the accumulation of all status effect dealt to enemies for a certain period of time. So if you stack all those status effect accumulation on your gears and also using Elemental Plague, it's going to apply the status element on the enemies in like 2 hits at most, unless they have resistant like immunity against that particular element. The second thing going to be ice weapon. So imbue your weapon with frost damage. So just so we can build up the chill status element. Now we also have the stone weapon. Does the same thing, but it's a different element. And then we have the frost lance. Well, because let me go to my special effects page. Because we have power gain upon wizardry spells and power drop on enemy upon wizardry spell. So the reason I'm going with the Frost Lance for is because out of all the projectile type spells we have, this one has the shortest animation, and it travels really far as well. So this is going to be the best one to proc those 2 passives on yourself and also apply the debuff on the enemy. Now for this, I'm going for HP restoration from melee attack damage. Now this is going to be insignificant. It's just almost like you don't even have it. But the reason I have it for is just so I can proc this thing, which applies a damage reduction on myself whenever I'm recovering HP. And the good thing is you do not have to use Absorb Vitality for this, because it's just passively giving you health restoration whenever you hit the enemy with a melee weapon. Now something I saved for later is going to be the stone enchant plus 17. Now if you know, played the game for long enough, you know how you start every mission with 0 morale, and if you want to use any of these imbuements, they require you to have at least 7 morale. So at the start of the mission you are not going to be able to use either one of these 2. So Stone Enchant is definitely going to do that job just fine, but the status effect build-up is going to be nowhere near as good as these 2 wizardry spells. Alright, so we're stacking the same thing on all of our gears, and if we now go to our special effects page, as you can see, we have stone attack power plus 114, ice attack power plus 95, then element imbued weapon spirit damage increased by 15.6%, then staff spirit damage, which is our main weapon, the spirit damage dealt by that weapon is going to be increased by 9.5%. Then wizardry spell damage, we really don't care. A stone enchant, just so we can we can apply the heaviness debuff on the enemies. Now enemy status effect accumulation increased by 25.4%, then chill accumulation increased by 31.6%, and same goes for heaviness. Shock, we don't care about that. We also have damage reduction upon HP recovery, power gain upon wizardry spell. So anytime you cast your Frost Lance, boom, you get power gain. Power drop on enemy, so applies a debuff on the enemy whenever you hit them with the Frost Lance. Then we also have spirit vulnerability to the enemy upon successfully deflecting a critical blow. And the other ones, we don't really care about them. So for the Guardian Spirit, we are using Tengsi. So the first one is increases spirit damage dealt to enemies afflicted with negative effects is increased by 5.1%, but if you are below 10 morale, and if you are above 10, then it's going to be increased by 10.2%. Then enemy status effect accumulation increased by 7.2%, wizardry spell damage, and power drop to the target whenever you hit them with a wizardry spell. Now for the status, for 87 points into wood, and that's mainly because of 2 reasons. The first thing is our weapon scales mainly with wood. So if we go here, you can see we have A+ scaling with wood on this weapon. The second one, fire virtue, the wood virtue, also the thing that if you have higher HP, it allows you to be a little bit more aggressive. I have 37 points in fire, just so we can get a good amount of spirit by attacking them. Then earth virtue, we really don't care about that. Metal virtue, 9 points in there, just so we can use the elemental plague. And water virtue, 12 points, just so we can use the frost weapon imbuement. All right, so that's going to be all. And something I think I mentioned already, but might as well just mention it again, is that the toxin enchant or whatever enchantment you have on your weapon. So we have, I have here the stone enchant plus increased by a plus 17 stone enchant. This, the build up is going to be nowhere near as good as the stone weapon imbuement, and the same goes with the ice weapon. So those are just for doing the getting the job done. But if you want to get the best result from them, then definitely use these imbuements. And that's going to be all. I don't think I have anything else to talk about in this video. So give this build a try, and this build totally destroys enemies' spirit if you do know how to use it properly, which shouldn't be that hard. And anyway, that's going to be all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this build, and definitely was a unique build, and I'm pretty sure no one came up with it. So yeah, that's going to be all, and I will see you in the next one, and take care until then, and I'm out.